Title VII protects any individual from discrimination regardless of their group affiliation. The lower courts that this woman had gone to, Marlene Ames, they dismissed her case. They said you must prove background circumstances that show the employer was biased against a majority group. Now, here's why that matters. Because they don't require that if you are a minority plaintiff. In other words, if Marlene was a black, gay woman and she went to court for the same reason that she got passed over for a less qualified candidate and demoted for her job, the court would not have required her to show that her employer was biased against her, because they are basically assuming, the lower courts will basically assume that just because you're part of this minority group of a female, black, and gay, that they just assume inherent bias against you. So you don't have to prove that the bias exists because you're part of a minority group. What this case says, what the Supreme Court is saying now, is that even though you're part of a majority group, i.e. white, male, heterosexual, you don't have to prove that there's an inherent bias against you either. All you got to prove is that there was a bias, period. You don't have a higher burden of proof. This is a big fucking deal. I hope y'all understand this. And we're going to talk about this even more as we keep going here. Ketanji Brown Jackson. This is the woman, I think she's a woman, who when she was in her hearing to get appointed to the Supreme Court, she said she didn't know what a woman was. She got asked, what is a woman? She couldn't answer the question. She's the one who writes the majority opinion. So Ketanji Brown Jackson, she rejected that distinction outright. The entire court did. She just wrote the opinion. She stated that Title VII, this is a Civil Rights Act that basically protects people based on no bias and discrimination. It protects any individual from discrimination regardless of their group affiliation. This is big. Let me say again what she said. Title VII protects any individual from discrimination regardless of their group affiliation.